Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Force with some more EverQuest Next Landmark. In today's video, I'd like to give you guys a basic introduction to construction and building in the game. We've got a variety of different tools that we have access to that allows us to create all sorts of crazy things like this building that I've made here. Force's Crafting Corner. If you happen to miss the last video, I'm on the Courage server on the Shallows continent, and I've got some high-tier crafting stations, the highest that are available at the moment, basically allowing you to build whatever you want. So come on down, but anyways, that's not the point of this video. Let's talk about building things in EverQuest Next Landmark. So I'd like to take you through all the tools we have access to, what you can do with those tools, and give you some different tips and tricks and things that I've sort of learned along the way. So first off, what are the tools? We've got an add tool, a selection tool, a heal tool, a line tool, a smoothing tool, and a painting tool. And you use these tools and take any materials that you have gathered, be it metal, wood, stone, or eventually in the future we'll also have liquid. You use these materials with these tools to build all sorts of crazy things. Like my neighbor over there, Noden, he's got some absurd thing going on, and I've got this giant monolith with a whole bunch of floors and some giant fireplaces on the top. So, how do we use these tools? How do we build these things? Let's start off with the adding tool. This is the most basic of tools, and we're going to want to start it off as cube. So, adding tool, we're able to take materials. So if I select a material, probably got the highest abundance of stone, so that's what we'll use. We'll just use some stone, worked stone slabs here. And I can take this tool, and wherever I want, I can place down a cube. And there's different sizes. We can use that middle mouse wheel and scroll up these sizes up to there. So we've got multiple sizes of cubes that we can place down. Now, interestingly enough, if you hit N, you're also able to scale on different size cubes. So normally the scale goes like from the biggest to there, to there, to there. But if we hit N, we get a smaller scale. Notice how these are coming out smaller when I move the mouse wheel up. So we get a scale like that. So yes, we've got the normal size like this, and then the smaller scale with N. So that's just a little tip that I recently learned. And we can remove anything. The game does have the standard copy, paste, undo, and redo commands on your PC. So Control-Z will redo our last few movements. I believe it stores up to the past 30 moves. I think that's the number. It was either 30 or 50, and I do believe it was 30. So we're able to undo those last few movements. So yes, we've got that. We've got the basic cubes there and the multitude of sizes. Also, if you hit C, you're able to switch from cube to sphere. So we can go from a huge sphere and bring it a little bit smaller, and a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, and actually that's the smallest size that we got. So 4 different variants of spheres that we're able to have. And again, you can do this at any point. I could switch any materials. If I wanted to make some wooden spheres, I could do that as well. So you're able to switch between the cubes and spheres using C on the fly. There are also other shapes that you can do with the add tool though. If you come into shapes, we've got different corners. So we've got slopes here. And when you select the slopes, you're automatically brought up with the option of choosing between different parameters of either rotating the object, and then if I hit Shift Tab, I can go to scaling the object, and Shift Tab again will let me change what vertical axis or horizontal plane that it's on. The X, Y, and Z values you're basically able to switch between with Tab here. Just like that. And again, if we switch to here, we can switch between rotating like this. If we hit Tab, we can rotate it like this. If we hit Tab again, we can rotate it forward and backwards. But I'm gonna just go to scale. I like to show you. So we're gonna just do a large scale, and I'll show you the different slopes that we have. So let me first rotate it this way. Just like this, fantastic. So we've got this type of slope right here. And if we go back, I can show you the next slope, which goes just like this. So these are just basically different angles for corners in any construction that you might have. And remember, we can do these big and small, whatever you desire. And then here's the final one. So different style of corners that you can have in any of the materials that you like. All right, let's go ahead and delete all those last few with Control-Z and bring ourselves back to a smooth plane. So that is essentially the add tool in a nutshell. Now, beyond the add tool, we have the selection volume. And with the add tool, yes, you can certainly do, different corners. You can do the circles and squares and cubes and all that stuff and different sizes. But the great thing about the add tool is it lets you do a wide area and either fill it in or delete it. So basically, we pull up the add tool and then we just click and drag on the floor. You grab onto any current object that has voxels, and you can click and drag across it, and it's gonna put up this whole big volume. So within that volume, we can do things like, let me pull it all the way up. If you hit delete, it will completely remove whatever layer. And we can either pull this up and down, we can change again the X, Y, and Z. So I can like move it across over here and then bring it down again, and we can delete another layer, just like that. It looks like that's a layer that we didn't see, so let's go up one more, and there you go. So we just deleted a few layers, all sorts of craziness going on, and now we're able to drop down. I'm gonna go ahead and undo those. Now, beyond moving X, Y, and Z, you can also scale these with these little corner edges. So you grab one of the corner edges, and you're able to change the height and width just like this. And then all of a sudden we could have this huge area that we decided to delete. But it's not all just destruction. You're able to use this to also create. So we've got this huge selected area right now. Again, we can make it as big or small as we want, just clicking and dragging, all sorts of craziness. And then if we hit the add tool, which I have bound to 4, we can then fill it in with our currently selected material. Look at that. So now all of a sudden I've got this giant cube just sitting there, just floating in the air. And with this, we could use the add tool to add, you know, small little details to it, or big details, or giant spheres, or whatever. We could also, again, if we fill up an area but we want to sort of filter it down, we can go back to the selection tool with 5 and grab a corner, fill across. So say that I wanted to, for some reason, cut out like the center. So say I want to build like a little cubby in here. We can drag that down, pull this up like this, we hit delete, and then all of a sudden, all right, great, we've got this little area that we can go in here and explore. We could, you know, just make this like a little resting corridor. I don't know, you do whatever the hell you want. You're just able to, again, either fill these in or destroy them here with the selection tool. And that's how I was able to do all of these big swaths of landscape, basically. Having all these different layers I was doing with the selection tool, filling up a giant area. Now, once you fill up a giant area, and say you have a level or something special that you like, for example, a staircase, you can then use the selection tool to copy paste. So what I can do here is I can go ahead and grab the selection tool and pull up the corners, all right? Now remember, we can change this with the grabbing the corners here. So we pull this across and bring it up. And then I just want to make sure that we have all the right angles and we're not overdoing it. So we're hitting all the corners here. It's right over here. That's perfect reason why we check. We're gonna pull this over here. So now with the selection tool, we've got this entire swath selected. All right, so now what do? I'm gonna copy it. We're gonna hit Control C. Now it has been copied onto my clipboard. Then I can hit Control V, and here is that staircase. Now, when you do this, you're also gonna be brought up with, again, the ability to rotate and change the current position of it. I'm gonna hit Shift Tab to switch between, and I want to get to this area so that I can push this back. So we're gonna be doing a whole nother level here. And then, with that, I'm gonna drop it down one row. And let me make sure that this is in the proper position that I want it to be. And then we then now that we have it, we can hit the left mouse button, and we have just put up an entire new layer of stairs, just like that. So it's very, very cool. You're able to fill in, delete, and copy paste any selections that you can, basically anything that you have within a selection volume. And again, we saw how much you can scale it big and small and push it out and move it up and down. The X, Y, and Z axis, you're able to do all of that with the selection tool. It's really great for once you've built something you like. If you want some symmetry in your building, creating multiple different copies of an object or something that you've constructed, that's exactly what this selection tool is really great at doing. So much better than, you know, imagine if I had to use this small add tool to build this by every square, this entire roof, you know? Instead, you're able to use the selection tool, fill up an entire area, delete what you want. I basically just use the add tool for very detailed things. So for example, I want this to go up a little more. This isn't exactly, I wanted this to go all the way to the top. So we've got the small selection, we want the right material. So I'm gonna go into my materials, select that, and then Control Z that, And there you go. So that's how I wanted it to go up that far, and we could do that with the corner. So that's basically the add tool is primarily used for little details, or again, if I wanted to put some sphere or something funny like that, or a pre-designed slope like that. But you don't have to use the pre-designed slopes because there is the line tool. And why don't we go ahead and take a look at that next. So in preparation of doing the line tool, what I'm going to do is we're going to set up a floor up here. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to click and drag across. And I'd like to make this a levitating floor because I just don't want to mess up with my current design there. So we're going to do the add tool, fill it in. So we've got a floor there. And now let's build a bunch of walls. So again, we're going to use the selection tool. Click and drag across. And then we want it to go up. So we'll grab like that. Fill that in with 4. Why did that not fit? Okay, I have no idea. It's a little buggy sometimes. Welcome to alpha, I guess. Go across. Go up. And then 4. Fill it in. There we go. So there's a wall, and now we can copy that because I'd like to do it on the other side. We're going to hit Control-C, turn around, Control-V for paste. Make sure that we have it in the right position. You can move it up and down like this. Push it back. Okay, so that's about right. It's whatever, close enough. Okay, so now with the line tool, what we can basically do, I'm gonna hit 7. That's where I have the line tool currently slotted. You're able to grab a position, and then grab a second position and place it down. Now, unfortunately, at the moment in the alpha, the 1 voxel size line tool seems to not really work. It just doesn't really do anything, but if we switch it to the 2 voxel size using the middle mouse wheel, it will work. So we're gonna grab one corner, and then we're gonna place down another, and we can do whatever angle. I don't believe the yellow angles work. Oh, looks like it still does work, but it just tells you it's gonna be a little funky. The red ones definitely don't work. The yellows aren't ideal. The green ones will essentially be a smooth line. So let's try to get a green one here. I believe we had it somewhere. Ooh. There we go. So you can see the green one is a smooth line, just like that. And with this, you're able to do all sorts of crazy customizations, but you can do all warp stuff like that if you want. That's totally, if you want something that looks ancient and warped, the yellow works, but the green is going to be something that just, you know, looks nice and smooth because it's at a proper angle. There's no, you basically just have to make sure it's a straight line, essentially. And then from there, we could take this and bring it up to here. See if we can get that green. There we go. That didn't work out exactly as planned, but you know, you fiddle around with it, all sorts of different things that you can do, but the line tool is used to create custom angles, and it's very neat. It's actually a tool that I just recently was able to build, because you don't start off with all these tools. You just start off with the add tool, the delete tool, and the healing tool, and that's it. So now that I picked this up, this is going to allow me to create some custom edges, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. All right, now, what about the healing tool? So we've talked about how you can delete with the selection tool. The selection tool lets you grab something, fill in an area, and then decide, I would like to delete that. I hit delete, it's gone. Well, the heal tool also does that. It does it with the square voxels. You can also do it with the circle voxels, so I can decide to eliminate a circular area. But the big thing that the heal tool is for, beyond deletion, like this, is also restoration of the natural environment. So for example, if I have, for some reason, destroyed an area, right? So if I do the selection tool and I select this big area here, just pull this out, and we'll lift it up a bunch, and we'll go like this, and we'll hit delete. Oh no, oh wait, I think I'm out of my claim range. All right, let's try this again. That is not supposed to not be working. Go down. Hit delete. Perfect, okay. So, you've destroyed something, but you destroyed it some time ago, and you can no longer undo it with Control-C. That is what the heal tool is going to allow you to do. The heal tool basically restores the environment to how the server initially left it. So again, this is different from undoing because it will completely restore to the way that the area was when the server first launched. That's essentially the idea behind it. So that is the heal tool. Again, you can use it to remove specific areas as a sort of deletion, either different funny shapes or just deleting small things that you don't like. But you can also do it to restore the environment back to how it was originally before you left huge holes in the ground. The line tool, the heal tool, the selection tool, the add tool, couple more. We've got the smoothing tool. as well as the paint tool. So the smoothing tool does what it sounds like. You're able to smooth out a vicinity. So we're gonna hit 8, brings up my smoothing tool, and we can do this again with either a circle or a square, switching with C. And I will smooth this down, ready? I'm gonna just do this right here. Gonna start clicking. So it's gonna take rough edges and just sort of wear them down. Now I like to better do this, I think, with the circle tool because it encompasses a nice big area. So we can just keep clicking on it and just gonna smooth all that down. Look at that. It's very cool. So this is if you want sort of a more weathered and worn look instead of having these very sharp edges. Like my entire building is very, very sharp edges. But if you're going for a, sort of a rustic feel, you can use this smooth tool to do that very thing. Just smooth out those edges. Fantastic. And then the last tool is the paint tool. What I like about the paint tool is if you have a material down and you don't want it anymore, instead of using the selection tool to pick it all up, delete it, and then replace it, you can use this tool to do a specific small area. So if I'd like to replace this flooring here with, say, some copper. Say for some reason I wanted to use some copper and create copper floors, I can just use the paint tool, and it's going to return any of the materials that it's replacing, so it's returning stone and using up copper. So now all of a sudden we've got copper in the floor. Just like that. Now it is still for huge, this is only for select areas, and you can do it again with circle or with square. This is only for select areas though. If you did want to replace an entire area, you would want to go with the selection tool, delete, and then add, and then we've got an entire area of copper. But so again, it depends on if you're trying to do large things or small things, whether you would use the painting tool or whether you'd use the selection tool. Same thing with, you know, a lot of times you won't use the add tool if you're wanting to do a large area. The selection tool is the best. And then lastly, there's the delete tool. I honestly never use it because I just use the heal tool instead of the delete tool, and that works just fine for me. But the delete tool, again, lets us sort of punch out areas in square or circular shapes. Just like that. And that pretty much does it, guys. Again, a quick overview. I guess it wasn't that quick, but an overview of all of the different creation tools and building tools that you'll have access to here in EverQuest Next Landmark. It can be really fun, and you can really create some pretty zany stuff. I'm pretty proud of my building. I think I still have a lot of work to do, but it's neat. It looks neat. Let me show you my neighbor's claim before we go. Let me show you what he built, since this is an episode about building. We're gonna head on over to Nodin's claim. He's not far, don't worry. Plus I've got my crazy grappling hook, which lets me cover distances incredibly quickly. All right, so here is Nodin's claim right next door. He's going for, just look at this, very cool style. I like it a lot. Good job, Nodin. All right, guys, that's gonna do it here for this video. Thank you so much for watching a basic introduction to building in EverQuest Next Landmark. Stay tuned for some more coverage coming up in the future. If you like what you see, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep watching and keep owning. This is actually coming along really nicely. This is very neat.